कुंज विहारी
कुंज विहारी
गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी
गोपीजन वल्लभा
राधा माधव अष्टसखी वृंद की, श्री श्री पंचतत्व की, श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री श्री गौर निताई की, श्री प्रभुपाद की, समावेत भक्त वृंद की, कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की निताय गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिते नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधा कांत नमस्तुते सप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेष्व भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। You all can recite a verse now from Bhagavad Gita. निर्मानमोहा जितसंगदोषा अध्यात्मनित्या विनिवृत्तकामा द्वन्द्वैर्विमुक्ता सुखदुःखसज्ञैः गच्छन्त्यमूढा पदमव्ययं तत्। We'll sing this in a different meter. Huh? You all can. Nirmanamoha Jitasanga Adhyatmanitya Vinivritta Kama Dvandvairvimukta Sukha Dukkha Sajnair Gacchantya Mudha padamavyayam tat. Everybody. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandvair vimukta sukha dukkha sajne gacchantya modha padamavyayam tat. So this morning we are discussing about the spiritual world. Padam avyayam. Avyayam means imperishable. Padam is a spiritual abode. Gacchanti means those who go. Gacha means go. Gacchanti means plural. Huh? Many millions of living beings from this world have gone to that world. Gacchanti padam avyayam tat. But what is the qualification? Amudha, he says. That is the qualification. So there are two types of mudhas in this world. One mudha thinks, I am the material body. And when material body dies, everything is finished. Those who think like that, they are one type of mudha. Another type of mudha, a foolish person, is one who thinks, I am not the body, I am soul, but I am God. He thinks like that. Soul and God are one, he thinks. He is second type of mudha. So here, who can enter the spiritual world? Only a amudha can enter. Amudha means what? One who is not in any of these two types. That means if we think I am this body made of flesh and bones, then we will get stuck in this world. Or even if I know I am not the body, I am the soul, but I think I am the same God only, soul and God are one, then that is another type of foolishness. So I'll tell you two verses for this foolishness. One verse says, Utkramantam sitam vape bunjanam vagunanvitam vimudha nanu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. Krishna says, how the soul enters the body, how the soul resides in the body like a driver in a car, how the soul quits the body and occupies another body. All these truths are visibly seen by a jnana chakshush, intelligent person. But one who is a mudha cannot see these things. When a baby is born, he rejoices. When the baby gets old and when a fellow dies, he cries because he thinks that the body is everything. He is a mudha. Another verse 9.11 in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. He's telling, those people who are foolish think that when I come to this world, Krishna says, they think of me like one of them. It's like a thief thinking, hey, president of the country has entered the jail. That means he's also a thief. He thinks like that. Or he thinks, president has come into jail, so all of us are in the jail. Then that means all of us are presidents of the country. They think like that. So both are foolish people. So we have to become amudha to enter the spiritual world. So how do we become amudha? The first quality is nirmana. See, what is the first quality? See, without false prestige. False prestige means very much valuing one's wealth, one's status in society, one's caste, one's position, political position, economic status, giving importance to those things and thoroughly identifying with one's body. So this is about the rich people and politically influential people. But even after you become a monk, still we can have false prestige. Like Durvasumani, for example. He was prejudiced to think that being a mystic yogi, I can sleep on the bank of a river, I can live in a cave, I can fly in air, I can walk on water. I am very renounced. So if one is very proud of his renunciation, then he also gets false prestige. Isn't it? That means either you are attached or you are averse, one can get false prestige. So nirmana means one should always think, Jivara Sarupa hoy, Krishna Netadas. I am simply servant of Krishna. One is free from false prestige. Like the king of Orissa, what's his name? Prataparudra. When Lord Jagannath was coming in the Rath cart, he took a broomstick in the hand and he swept the floor in front of Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya saw that and said, "Here is a king who doesn't consider himself a king. He thinks Lord Jagannath is the king of the whole world. So I'll give him my mercy," Lord Chaitanya said, because he's free from false prestige. He doesn't have iota of pride. So that's the first quality. Vishwamitra and Vasishtha always had a competition. When Vasishtha had this Kamadhenu cow, Vishwamitra at that time was not called Vishwamitra. His name was King Kaushik. So he came to the ashrama and Vasishtha gave him a big plate of prasad. So Vishwamitra Kaushik king was amazed. He said, "How did you get this such a big plate of varieties of items?" He said, "My Kamadhenu cow gave it." So then he said, "I want the cow. I am a king. I can supply to all citizens with this." Vasishtha said, "No, this is not the way you supply to your citizens. You should do sacrifices to please Lord Vishnu. Then rains will come. Then people will get the grains. Not that you keep a Kamadhenu cow and supply to all citizens." But he was not agreeable. Being a king, he thought, I can apply my muscular power to get the cow. When he tried to take the cow, that's a very long story cut short. The cow brought out many soldiers from the ears and eyes, and they all defeated Kaushik king. Then he understood that Brahma Tejas is greater than Kshatriya Tejas. So then he went to forest to perform meditation to become Maharshi. Then he brought all the weapons to attack Vasishtha. Vasishtha took his wooden staff and swallowed all the weapons into it. Again Vishwamitra was defeated. He lost his balam. Again he went back to forest and again that severe tapovalam he acquired. Then Indra became insecure and he sent Menaka with a twinkling bell, ankle bell. When he heard the sound, he opened his eyes, became fascinated by her beauty. And once he embraced her, everything was finished. Then he begot Shakuntala. Then due to lust, he lost his tapovalam again, second time. Again he went to forest and did a lot of penance. This time Indra sent Ramba. Ramba was afraid to go. But then Indra said, "I will become a parrot and I'll accompany you, don't worry." When Ramba showered Parijata flowers on Vishwamitra's head, he wondered how so many Parijata flowers which comes in once in 12 years. Then he looked at her again, another celestial woman has come to bewilder me. He became angry on her this time and he made her into stone. So now again he lost Tapavalam because of anger. First time because of pride with Vasishtha. Second time because of lust. Now because of anger. Again he lamented, "Alas, alas, how unfortunate. So all this is happening with me because of my foolishness. Now I'll be very careful." Then one king Trishangu came, he wanted to go to heaven without performing the homework of sacrifices and everything. He went to Vasishtha. Vasishtha said it is not possible. Went to Vasishtha's sons, 100 sons. They said, he told them, "See, your father is not capable. You guys are more intelligent than your father. So you help me." So they got offended that you talked ill of our father. We curse you to become a Chandala. Then he became Chandala with black dress, black face, everything black. So then he came to the door of Vishwamitra and loudly spoke, "What is this? I thought Vasishtha is a great soul. He could not send me to heaven. Is there no one in the world who is not better than Vasishtha?" Like that he asked. Vishwamitra came out running. "Tell me what he could not do. Now I will do and show you. Anything Vasishtha cannot do, I want to show that I can." Again the false prestige came. Then you know that. Then he tried to send him to heaven without any punya. Then Indra saw that some UFO is coming to heaven. He took his thunderbolt, sent it back. His unqualified fool is coming up. So Vishwamitra again pushed him off. So it's like playing table tennis or something like that, waiting. So finally this fellow got frustrated, Trishanku, and said, "I don't want to go to heaven, allow me to be on earth," he said. Then Vishwamitra said, "Don't worry, I will create a new planet for you. There are 8 siddhis. One of the siddhis is you can create a planet at will. That's one of the siddhis. So he created one planet, but that planet went out of control. It went like it was even coming to hit to Vishwamitra also. Vishwamitra, it's like modern man creating a robo and AI is progressing. AI is now taking over now. Modern man is worrying that the machines, if they take over, we will be in trouble. We cannot live without machines. Similarly, he lost control and he loudly cried out, "Oh, Hari!" Like that he shouted. Then Lord Vishnu came and said, "Why did you act so mischievously? If you promise that you will keep peacefully, you will do your tapasya peaceful, then I will stop this." Then Lord Vishnu stopped it. And then he put Trishanku there. So again he lost Tapovalam because of pride. To show off to Vasishta. So how many of you can relate with Vishwamitra's mentality? In our life also we compete with others and oftentimes we have to cut a sorry figure. You experience? Correct, no? Yeah. That is mana. But we have to become free from this man if you have to go to spiritual world. In spiritual world, all living beings, they are extremely humble. I will show you another verse. Paravatanya Datyugahams Shukatittiribarginam ya Kolagalo Viramate Chiramatra Muchair Bringadipe Harikatami Vagayamane. See here, when the king of the bees hums in high pitch, I read that, singing.
When the king of bees hums in a high pitch, singing the glories of the Lord, there is a temporary lull in the noise of the pigeon, the cuckoo, the crane, the chakravaka, the swan, the parrot, the partridge, and the peacock. Such transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories of the Lord.
So these are all royal birds. You know, cuckoo. A very sweet voice it has. And peacock. Anybody knows peacock, how it makes noise? That it makes noise. And a parrot, anybody knows? It's a little difficult, parrot. But all of them are very royal birds. They sing very, very sweetly. Each of these birds. Although they are like sweet singers, when a bumblebee came, it's not a very sweet sound. But the bumblebee is coming from the garland of Lord Narayana. So they thought he may have something valuable to share with us. He must have seen the beautiful face of Supreme Lord. Let us all hear him. So they became quiet and they heard him sing. Which means in spiritual world, all the birds, are they proud or are they humble? Completely humble. Nobody talks about their own glories. In this purport, Prabhupada says, in the material world, even a donkey is proud of his voice, he says. He's proud of his braying, he says. There is one Subhashit, it says, Ushtranam ipavageshu gadarbam pratijayate parasparam prashansanti aho rupam aho dvani. What it says, once upon a time for a marriage of one camel, one donkey went. And the donkey suddenly saw that all animals have brought some gifts to give to the camel, except himself. So he was wondering, it's not a good behavior. Everybody is giving gift, I am not giving anything. When you don't have a gift to offer, what you should do? At least some words of praise should be spoken. Then he went to the camel and said, "Oh, camel, your form is so beautiful. Look at your face, how handsome you look," he said. And the camel in return thought, I also should speak some sweet words. He said, "Oh, donkey, your voice is so sweet like a cuckoo." Like that he said. So both were actually scratching each other's back. The material world, everybody is boastful of their own prowess. See, yesterday one boy was asking me, "Prabhu, whenever you say Krishna is the center, we have to serve him, my ego is pushing from inside. Why only Krishna? Why can't I sit there? Everybody, why can't everybody serve me?" I saw one advertisement billboard in Pune. One man is wearing coat, suit, boot, tie, and is lying on a couch. And one girl is putting one shoe for him. Another girl is putting one coat for him. Another young beautiful girl is putting a tie for him. And another girl is putting a watch for him. And he's showing like this, all of them. So why they put such advertisements? Do you think such things happen in real life? Why they put? Because they want to be the enjoyer. Correct, no? The living entity wants to be the enjoyer. He wants to be the central figurehead and he wants everybody to serve him. Correct, no? On the other hand, in the spiritual world, it is said Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyaman. Krishna has hundreds and thousands of gopis who are his pure devotees. Krishna has no exploiting nature. There is no exploiting nature in Krishna. Already I have been talking about it before also. Krishna becomes servant of his own devotee, Arjuna, and becomes Parthasarathi, driving the chariot. Krishna washes the feet of the saintly people coming to the Rajsu Yajna. Krishna becomes bound by the love of Yashoda with a robe. So actually, we cannot behave like him. We don't have a non-exploitative nature. We have exploiting nature. Therefore, the more we have exploiting diseased nature, the more we try to be at the center, nobody will appreciate it and everybody will become angry with us. Any of you tried this? You try to boss over somebody, they'll kick you off. Is there anybody in this world who like to be bossed over by somebody? Is there any one of you here who like somebody bossing over you? You raise the hand, Prabhuji, I like somebody bossing over me. See, not even one hand up. You'll see. You see? None of us like to be bossed by anybody. And therefore, we hate to be servant in this world. Whereas in the spiritual world, becoming servant of Krishna is a very wonderful thing. In the material world, for example, you join a company, when your boss is away for a week, you enjoy. Thank God, he's gone abroad. Now I can relax now. Because boss wants to extract a lot of work from you and give you less salary. You want to do less work and earn more salary. So who is exploiting whom? Both are exploiting one another. Mosquito wants to suck your blood and you want to roast the mosquito with electric bat. So both are exploiting one another. So in material world, do we like to be servant of somebody? No. But honestly, tell me, how many of you like to become servant of your mother and father and lift their luggage when they come? Correct, no? Do you take coolie charges? You do it really. Why you do that? Yeah. Where there is love, you don't mind becoming servant. For that matter, even father sometimes takes a small boy on his back like a horse and gives him a joyride. Correct, no? Where there is love, you are happy to become servant. So spiritual world is such a place, you see, there is no envy for other living beings. The royal birds are all keeping quiet. Kolahalo viramate chiramatra muchair. So they are all hearing the... Another one more verse comes here, beautiful. Mandara kunda gurabat pala champakarna. Everybody? Punnaga naga bakulambuja parijataha. गंधेर्चिते तुलसिका भरणेन तस्या यस्मिं तपस्सु मनसो बहुमानयन्ति. It says here, there are many very nice, beautiful flower-bearing plants like Mandara, Kunda, Korabaka, Utpala, Champakarna. We don't even know many of them. But they're all highly fragrant flowers, just like you've seen jasmine. Jasmine has great fragrance. Lotus, lily, like that. Like you've seen, there is one yellow color flower. Is it champa flower? Very fragrant it is. Yellow, long one. So like that, all these flowers are very fragrant ones. But when Lord Narayana wears the tulasi, a garland, and he comes, when they see the tulasi, they immediately bow down. Tulasi doesn't have a great flower. Tulasi doesn't have a great fruit also. Tulasi is a simple plant. But what is special about tulasi? Anybody knows? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Oh, she is called Krishna Priya. In how many of your homes you have a tulasi? Your mother what? Really? My Lord, almost everybody. Amazing. It's wonderful. Yeah. So many of your mother may be in your house watering tulasi. She may not know why she is watering. But actually, when you water tulasi, your Krishna Bhakti also develops. Listen, Vrindaye, Tulasi Devi, Priyaye, Keshavasya, Vishnu Bhakti, Prade Devi, Devate. So in Puranas it is said, if even one sees Tulasi, one touches Tulasi, one bows down to Tulasi, or one is touched by the wind that has touched Tulasi, or one circumambulates Tulasi, one waters Tulasi, one gets Krishna Bhakti developed by that. So she is known as Krishna Priya. So all the flowers which are fragrant flowers. They are all bowing down to Tulasi, saying that, hey, Tulasi Maharani is coming. Which means they don't blame her, saying that, hey, you don't have a fragrance like us. We don't have a big flower like us. Like that, they don't compare. They know that she may not have a big flower, she has a small flower, Tulasi. But still, she is great in devotion. So they're appreciating her devotion. Yeah. This is a spiritual world. So, Tat Sankulam Haripadanati Matra Drishtair Vaiduryamarakata Hema Mayair Vimanai Yesham Brihat Katitata Smita Shobhimukyah Krishnatmanam Naraja Adadurutsmayadyehi. Yeah. Read this translation.
Inhabitants of Vaikuntha travel in their airplanes made of lapis lazuli, emerald, and gold. Although
Lazuli means Vaidurya. Vaidurya. Yeah.
although crowded by their consorts, who have large hips and
Consorts means their wives.
who have large hips and beautiful smiling faces, they cannot be stimulated to passion by their mirth and beautiful charms.
Yeah. So in the Vaikuntha planets, it is said the Vaikuntha men, their bodies are bluish, like Vishnu. They also have 4 arms. They also carry Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, everything. Then what is the difference between Vishnu and them? Anybody can say yes? Shivat Samark. There is a golden hair on Lord Vishnu's chest, which is the residing place for Lakshmi. Lakshmi resides inside that place. Yeah. One more difference, yes? Kaustubamani, very good. Kaustubamani. Lord wears a Kaustuba jewel. Give them prizes, come here. Haribo. So, they found out this. This is the main difference. Haribo. So, like for example, Prime Minister of India and yourself, compare. We look the same, correct, no? We look the same. We look like, yeah. Haribo. You see, he can declare a holiday for whole India, can he or not? On his birthday. Can we declare a holiday for whole India? No, we can declare, but nobody will follow. Isn't it? Because we don't have the power to control whole Indian population. But he is the Prime Minister, he can do that. Similarly, Lord Vishnu is the master. All others are servants there. So their bodies are similar to Vishnu's body, but they are servants. In Vishnu temples, you will find outside Jai Vijay standing. So they are like that. All the servants, they are traveling in aeroplanes with their consorts. The consorts are the females who have very beautiful bodies, and their teeth are like a row of pearls. They have long flowing hair, and their bodies are spotlessly beautiful. And although these women are joking and laughing, they're giggling, their mirth and laughter does not arouse sexual thoughts in the minds of men. Like here, Prabhupada will say here, you can read this one. See, read that, it is specifically mentioned here.
It is specifically mentioned that here that a woman's large hips are very attractive and they stimulate man's passion. But the wonderful feature of Vaikuntha is that although the women have large hips and beautiful faces and are decorated with the ornaments of emeralds and jewels, the men are so absorbed in Krishna consciousness that the beautiful bodies of women cannot attract them.
See, this is one feature of Vaikuntha. See, it said that women have large hips and very, very attractive bodies. Their feminine opulences they have, like shyness and beauty and spotless beauty, all that. But the men are not attracted to them, he says. Is it not amazing? In this material world, men are attracted to women or not? They think everyone is meant for my enjoyment. They think like that. In this world, how horrible this world is. Therefore, we are trained to see Matravat Paradaresh. We should see every woman as our mother except one's own wife. So in the spiritual world, even though they are consorts, the men and women are not attracted to each other. They are attracted to service of Krishna. That is one specific future. In other purposes here, read this one.
In other words, there is enjoyment of association of opposite sex, but there is no sexual relationship. The residents of Vaikuntha have a better standard of pleasure, so there is no need of sex pleasure.
See, like this Prabhupada says. So, sometimes people ask a question. Oh, you are saying in the Vaikuntha also there are men and women, and Golok also there are covered boys and covered girls. One time, one boy was asking me a question. Prabhu, Radha and Krishna are dancing together, meeting and all. What about covered boys and covered girls? So, do they also meet? So, I asked, in those days, his name is Kadamkanan Maharaj. I asked this question. So, he said, if Gopals and Gopis, they meet behind a bush, they will only talk about how to serve Radha and Krishna better. They will, let us bring this for Radha and Krishna, bring that ornament, let us serve. They will not talk about their enjoyment, they will talk about Radha Krishna's enjoyment. Is it not amazing? Because this boy, why he asked this question, he wanted to know whether he also has scope for enjoying, correct now? Himself. But their enjoyment is what? Huh? Their enjoyment is in serving the Lord only. See, the jiva is so made that by service only he can be happy. I will tell you one verbatim sentence from Prabhupada's purport. You all can repeat after me. The living entity is so made that he experiences utmost happiness while placing himself in a state of absolute dependence. This Prabhupada writes in the Bhishma section. The living entity is so made by the will of the Lord and that he experiences utmost happiness while putting himself in a state of absolute. So that means the jivas in spiritual world are so dependent on the Lord and so subservient to Lord, so much fond of serving the Lord, that their sense education never crosses their mind at all. That thought only doesn't come. He says like that. You see, for example, if I have like a vati of gulab jamun here, if there's a spoon kept, what I will do, I will take the gulab jamun and eat, correct? Huh? Because a spoon is meant for eating gulab jamun and a cricket bat is meant for hitting a correct ball, correct? No? Now imagine if I take the spoon and say I will play cricket with the spoon. Can you play? Yeah, you can play, but if you hit a correct ball, you will get your hand like this. Then you have to go to doctor. Sir, I was playing cricket, it happened like this. You'll wonder, what did you play with? I played with a spoon. That's why your hand went like this. Or with a cricket bat, can you eat gulab jamun? Yeah, you can eat. You can put some Fevicol at the end of the cricket bat and touch the gulab jamun, stick it and then put in the mouth. If you put, probably you'll break your tooth. That means cricket bat should be used for playing cricket. Spoon should be used for eating. That's the right use or not? Similarly, the right use of the soul is engage in Lord service. Don't try to play the role of the Lord. You will only break your tooth or you'll twist your hand. And if you do that, one time Balaram, in order to teach us a lesson, Balaram played one pastime like this. One day Balaram said, hey Kana, today I want to wear your peacock feather and play your flute. Let me do that today. So he wore the peacock feather and he played on the, used the flute. And when he was dancing and singing in the forest of Raj, at the time Keshi demon came, sent by Kamsa. And Kamsa had told Keshi demon how to identify Krishna. He has got a peacock feather and he has got it placed on the flute. So as soon as he saw Balaram, he thought there is only Krishna. And then pat, he kicked on his chest. And Balaram, of course, Balaram's strength is immeasurable. And he can kill Keshi on the spot if he wanted. But for the sake of pastime, Balaram behaved as if he got extremely pained. He immediately ran to his mother, Rohini, and fell on her lap. And he, for some period of time, Balaram did not get up. When he got up from his sleep, immediately went to Krishna and said, hey, Kana, you take this peacock feather and you take the flute. Because, you are the one who deals with the demons. But why did Balaram teach us this pastime? He wants to tell us, don't try to take Krishna's role. We won't be able to do that. You won't be able to handle. If 16,000 young girls are ready to marry you, any of you is ready? Why we are not ready, tell me? Because in this world to satisfy one woman is difficult. 16,000 women, can you handle? Can you give each of them one palace? Can you give them saris, ornaments for all of them? And you have to expand yourself also to be with each of them. Can you do that? Therefore, God is God, Jiva is Jiva. So we should recognize our position. But one amazing thing I will tell you, even though we are Jivas, we appear tiny, you may think that I can't be God. You can become better than God, Prabhupada says. How? If you become his devotee, loving servitor, Krishna puts his devotees on a pedestal higher than himself also. Like he did with Sudama, correct, no? Or he does with Radharani. So, therefore, you are not disadvantaged by wanting to become a devotee. Correct, no? That is why in the spiritual world there is no sexual attraction to each other. They are attracted to the Lord's service. So, so that's the first one. Nirmana moha. Second word is moha. All the living beings spiritual world are without moha, correct, no? Just now I showed you. They have no illusion. There is no attraction for personal selfish enjoyment. What is moha? Moha means that which is not. Like for example, there is a mirage and you run towards that thinking it is water and you find there is no water. So that is moha. That means to consider impure things to be pure and pure things to be impure. That is illusion. For example, uh, like I was telling you that in this world, the fascination between the opposite sexes, it is simply an illusion, and that one will not realize. It takes time for people. Many sages have even fallen prey to this. Although one will see that, like Vishwamitra, he got attracted to Menaka, but he realized it later. Correct, no? It was foolishness. It's moha. Similarly, Chitraketu was attracted to his small son, Harsha Shoka. How many have heard about Chitraketu? Yeah, correct, no? When he heard his son died, he stumbled and fell and got up and his hair became disheveled. How he cried, that's moha, it is said. Moha means very strong bonds of material attachment. Not able to know the difference between body and soul. Yeah. Like Prabhupada says, there was one husband-wife. One devotee went and showed them Back to Godhead magazine. Please take it. The husband said, no, not interested, he said. Instead, he purchased lipstick and nail polish for his wife. She wore already they were old actually. She put lipstick and nail polish. And Prabhupada says, you see, if they purchased Back to Godhead, they would read it and they'll go back to Godhead. Now, he is purchasing lipstick and nail polish for her. She is going to increase his illusion. Correct? No? And then they will stay in the material world. Because moha keeps us in the material world. And nirmoha takes you to spiritual world. You understand it? So all this glitter and glamour of the modern day world is what? It's moha. It's moha. One is bewildered by this. Pure devotees like Prabhupada are not bewildered. You see, Prabhupada went to Avalon Ballroom. There are a lot of young boys and girls were drugged, stoned in drugs. So when Prabhupada finished the program and came out, he said, this place is no place for a brahmachari, Prabhupada said. And then along with him, there were two people. One was, I think it was Keith, and there was one more. I don't want to mention the name. There was another devotee with Prabhupada. They both were accompanying Prabhupada, but that boy who accompanied Prabhupada, he became allured by the boys and girls going in cars for enjoyment. He got affected, contaminated. So he also left ISKCON and then went with, girls that time. So Prabhupada was not affected by that place, but he was affected. You understand, no? That means Prabhupada was near moha, free from moha, but he was affected by moha. So that's what he's saying. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha. Another thing, moha is the money. See, land, money, woman, prestige, attachment to the bodily relationships, all this is called as moha. He says, idam adhyamaya labdam imam prapsye manoratam idam asti idam api me bhavishyanti punardhanam hadyo abhijanavaanasme konyosi sadrsho maya ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. And then he says, then one more line, he says that asau hatamaya shatruhu hanishye cha paranapi, he says. What he says, today I have $1 million, Next year I'll make $2 million. In 5 years I'll make $5 million. And nobody can beat me. And if any other businessman comes anywhere near me, I'll shoot him. Aso hatamaya shatruhu hanishyecha paranapi. See, don't think Krishna is just speaking some, imagined examples. The real thing happened. In Latur, there was in Sharma Tutorials, 2019 July. You can read the news. 2019 July. Sharma Tutorials, out of 12 professors were working in the tuition center. One of them moved out and started his own step-by-step tutorials. And that step-by-step tutorials, within 2 years, they expanded 5-6 branches. And Sharma Tutorials owner became very insecure. In our same city, this fellow has expanded. My teacher, one of my teachers, expanded so many institutes of his own. So he arranged some hoodlums to finish him off. They shot him. So how dangerous is this world? People are so envious in this world. So you will see that that is moha for money. So much madness for money. So nirmana moha jita sangha dosha. Having conquered the association. That means rajoguna, tamaguna. Passion, ignorance. One should go above that. Which means, in the tamaguna, one is lazy. Nidra, alasya, pramad. Pramad means madness in taking all kinds of substances like drugs and liquor and smoke and all. And then alasya means you all know. Too much sleep, laziness. Alasya, pramad, nidra, too much sleep. So laziness, all these things is tamaguna. And many things, insecurity, indecision, all those things. And rajoguna, especially Sangha and Trishna, craving for over ambitions. And mad attachment to the attraction for the opposite sex and all these things. So many things can be said. But I'm briefly telling you, we have to become Jita Sangha Dosha. Come to the Sattva Guna, place yourself in Sattva and then be focused on the spiritual goal. Adhyatma Nitya, he says, one should be fixed in the spiritual goal. Vinivritta Kama, you are done with lust, which means you are not anymore fascinated by lusty activities of this world, because you know that when you go to spiritual world, there is no lust there. There is only love. Everybody wants to serve the Supreme Lord. So we have to prepare our consciousness to match that wavelength. See, you heard these 3 words, the wavelength, the frequency and the vibration. You heard these 3 words? Actually, if you take 2 forks and you vibrate one of them, the other one also vibrates. That principle is called as resonance. Resonance we call it. So Lord has one wavelength and frequency. You have to match with that. Then only we go to the spiritual world. So therefore one has to prepare one's consciousness for that. Vinivrita kama, dvandvair vimukta. One become free from the effects of dualities of sukha dukkha, shita ushna, mana, apaman, all these things. You don't care about them in the world. You rise above them, which means in this world somebody will praise you, somebody will insult you. Somebody will give you pleasure, somebody will give you pain. But don't quarrel with them, don't fight with them. It's called dvandva titikshaya. Tolerate that and focus on your ultimate goal of going back to Godhead. Yeah. Sukha dukkha sanghe. And then gachanti amudha padam avyayam. That means Krishna is talking about spiritual world in this particular shloka. This is a very famous chapter. Please repeat this verse. Urdhamulam adha Sri Bhagavan uvacha Urdhamulam adha shakam ashwattam prahuravyayam Chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavet. Adashchordvam prasritastasya shakha guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha adashcha mulanyanu santatani Karmanubandhini manushya loke. Okay, to explain this, I will tell you a little story. You will easily capture it. There was a queen, along with her associate ladies, her friends. She went to take bath in a pond. After playing in the waters, joking with one another, they had left their necklace and the bangles and nose ring, everything on the bank of the pond. So when she came back, everything was there except the necklace. She became worried. Where is my necklace? Then she reported to the king, somebody stole my necklace. King said, never mind, I'll get you another one. It's not a great deal. Uh, she said, I don't want another one. I want the same one because that was given by my friend. It's very dear to me. She will ask me, where is it? You have to somehow get me that. Then the king arranged for the ministers to play the kettle drums and make an announcement. Anybody who would bring that necklace of my queen will get 5 lakh rupees. So all the citizens became very inspired to find out. Everybody was frantically searching for it. So one man, when he was in the outskirts of the village, uh, he was hanging around in an area where there was a lake. So one sage was passing by in the morning and in the evening. The sage asked him, I see you hanging around here for a long time, my dear man. What keeps you here? The man said, there is something very confidential. I can't share with anybody, he said. And the sage said, but you look very anxious. You seem to be in a great problem. Tell me, let me help you. The man said, I can tell you the truth, but when I get the award, you should not ask for half the share. And the sage said, I will not ask anything. Tell me what's your problem. Then the man said, dear sir, the necklace of the queen is right here. I am putting my hand in the water to pick it up, but when I touch it, I only get stones in my hand. Stones and sand. I don't get the necklace. And the sage saw that and laughed. That's all is a problem. Immediately climbed up the tree, went to the branch where the necklace was hanging, and he brought it down. Some crow had put it there. Brought it down. The man was so happy. The sage said, I will ask you for one special dakshina. He said, but you promised me you will not ask anything. He said, my only dakshina is you have to sit down and hear a lecture now. That's the only thing you have to hear. Otherwise, I don't want a single penny from you. And what do you think the sage taught him? The sage said, dear foolish man, you don't understand. The necklace was in the tree, you were searching for it in the water. In the water also you saw it. But what did you see? You saw reflection. Similarly, Lord Krishna says, Urdhvamulam adaha shakam ashwattam prahuravyayam. Roots are upwards, branches are downwards, he's saying. Have you ever seen a tree where roots are upwards and branches are down? There is only one place you see that, where under the water, in the reflection in the water, where you see roots upward and branches. And sage told him, this material world is like that. It's a mango tree, but upside down mango tree. In the mango tree, you see the mango. In the water also. But can you eat it? You can see it. It's happiness in view, but out of experience. Repeat it. Happiness in view, but out of. How many of you experienced in this world? From a distance, you thought something will make you happy. When you came near, you couldn't get it. Correct, na? Yeah. So all the pleasures of this world are like that. They are very cheating pleasures. They are not real pleasures. They initially appear like giving you pleasure, but along with pleasure, I told you, it's coupled up with pain. When I was going in the train recently, I saw there was a big joint family, around 15, 20 family members. So the night time, 8 o'clock, they all purchased this samosa. You all know samosa? Everybody was eating samosa. Children were eating. So the old man was there, his sons, daughters, everybody was eating samosa. So seeing that all are consuming samosas, he also became spirited, the old man. He ate some 8-10 samosas along with everybody. Guess what happened? The next day morning, he had a severe pain in the belly. I was screaming. While eating samosa, he was jolly. But next day morning, he was suffering. That's material world. So he thought he'll get happiness. What he got? He got pain. Material world, happiness is only in view, but out of experience. It's like a reflection mango, not the real mango. So then where is the real mango? That is in spiritual world. Huh? That's what our Krishna is telling. The real relationships are in spiritual world. Material world is false relationship. In this life, somebody is your mother, father, brother, sister, family, and then you leave this family to go to another family. Correct, no? When you get new, just like when mango leaves sometimes fall in a river, they come together, 4, 5 leaves, and after some distance they get separated, never to meet again. Huh? यथा प्रयान्ति संयान्ति स्रोतो वेगेन बालुका संयुज्यन्ते वियुज्यन्ते तथा कालेन they samyujyante means they come together. After some time they get separated. This leaf goes with some other group of leaves. This leaf goes with some other group of leaves. Huh? Similarly, all of us are going on changing family. How are we changing family? That example is given in Bhagavatam. Like the gold and other commodities, they go from one hand to another hand. Correct, no? Hmm? Like somebody pledges a gold in a shop, then it is given to somebody else. A currency note also. Some boys, they take the currency note and put their signature. But is that signatured currency note will remain with you? Will it remain? No. Currency note keeps on hopping and jumping from one pocket to another. Like that, the soul jumps and hops from one family to another. Is it clear to everybody? So, therefore, these are all temporary relationships in the material world. Huh? But with Lord in the spiritual world, it's an eternal, imperishable, everlasting relationship. So Krishna is telling in these verses that come back to spiritual world. Huh? He's inviting all of us back to spiritual world. So now, here you see this devotee. What does this black thing show? What does the right side show? Yeah. So you all know this. This is the goal of life. Huh? But in the first part we are discussing, why do we put faith in the existence of spiritual world? न तद्भासयते सूर्यो न शशाङ्को न पावकः यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम. Yeah. Translation.
That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
Yeah, Dhama means like in this world also you say Vrindavan Dham, Mathura Dham, Dwarka Dham, Rameshwar Dham. You say Dham means an abode, isn't it? Paramam means supreme. Mama means mine. That means Krishna says that he has got a place where he lives. Correct, no? And then one more thing he says, detail, Yat Gatva. Once you go there, Na Nivartante means you will not come back to this world. And then he says that planet is not illumined by Surya, Shashankar, Pavakaha, sun or moon or electricity. So you may wonder, is there electricity known to the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, when he says Pavakaha, is it fire or electricity? Actually, you will read in the pastime of Bahumasura, he had electrified barbed wires he had in the entire palace walls. Huh? You will hear that. They had electricity. Huh? Long before Faraday invented it. Huh? You will see that. In the Vedic text, there is information about electricity. Yeah. Even Indra uses a Vajra. The principle of the Vajra is electricity. Huh? With which you can see in the sky how during the rainy season you see the lightning streaks. Those are sent by Indra. Indra is the one who is using his Vajra, which with lightning streaks are seen. Then there is a rain shower after that. So electricity is well known in the Vedic times. Huh? So now in Bible, Jesus says, my father's abode has many mansions, he says. And he also says, and that abode is not illumined by sun or moon. He also says. You will see that. Huh? So you can see similarity, I will show you. Vishuddham bodhanam nityam madhamakshayam avyayam avyaktam avikaram yat tad Vishnu paramam padam na sthulam na cha sukshmam janna visheshana agocharam. Tatpadam paramam Vishno pranamamah sadamalam. Yeah.
That which is the supreme state, Param Padamam Padam
Paramam padam.
of Vishnu is pure, consciousness eternal, unborn, undecayable, inexhaustible, unmanifest, immutable. It is neither gross nor subtle nor capable of being defined to that ever immaculate supreme state of Vishnu I bow.
Yeah. Talking about the spiritual world, Vaikuntha. Pradhana Purusha Vyakta Kalanam Paramam Hiyat Pashyanti Surayah Shuddham Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam.
What is beyond matter, spirit, manifestation, and time, that pure state which says, Behold, that is the supreme abode of Vishnu.
Yeah. Beyond matter, spirit, manifestation, and time, there is a abode of Supreme Lord called Vaikuntha planets. So, you see, in this world, there exist 64 dimensions in which humans can perceive only 3 dimensions. For example, take a cube like this. Only 3 faces you can see, correct, no? Can you see the other faces? Other 5 faces? You won't be able to see. Huh? That's what he's saying. You can perceive only other 6 sides. You cannot see a cuboid, 6 sides at the same point of time. 6 sides you cannot see. All the 6. Only 3 you can see.
Live in the third. Even though you currently live in the third dimension, you cannot fully see three-dimensional shapes. Let me explain with an example. So this here is a box. Now imagine I write a different number on each side of this 3D box. Is it possible to see all 6 sides of this box at once? Well, what I can try doing is rotating the box in this direction. This will make the box look like this. Notice how sides 1, 2, and 6 cannot be seen in this orientation. So what I'll do now is take the box and I'll flip it upside down. Notice how in this case, sides 3, 4, and 5 cannot currently be seen. So without using a mirror or camera, is there any possible way that we can see all 6 sides of this cube at once? Well, it turns out there actually is a method we can use, but you kind of have to cheat. What you have to do is you have to take this box and you have to basically break it. Because if you break the box in the right way and you unfold it, you will be able to see all 6 sides at once. But notice how you had to take a 3-dimensional shape and basically convert it into a 2-dimensional shape in order to fully visualize it. This just goes to show you that
Yeah. You see, no? You can't see that.
even though you currently live in the third dimension, you can
That
Imagine 4 dimension. We cannot let me see why it is not possible to perceive 4 dimension. Just imagine you can see the other side of cube without changing orientation of the cube, or you change the location to see the other side of the cube. So from any special point, you should be able to see the 3D cube with all 6 sides. Just try to stitch and imagine the big picture. Good example, panoramic photos 360 degree. Your views from all spatial orientations 360 degree. This is the 4 dimension.
So there is a very big research. I have links of the papers also, scientist research on this, on higher dimension. See here, in 1880, Charles Howard.
In 1818, Charles Howard Hinton popularized it in an essay, What is 4 dimension? In which he explained the concept of 4 dimensional cube with a step-by-step generalization of the properties of lines, squares, and cubes. The simplest form of Hinton's method is to draw 2 ordinary 3D cubes in 2D space, one encompassing the other, separated by an unseen distance, and then draw lines between their equivalent vertices. This can be seen in the accompanying dimension whenever it shows a smaller
See,
inner cube
if you
inside
can see the picture, you can see all the 6 faces of the cube if you very carefully observe in this. But you will only be able to see all the 6 faces by making this type of moving arrangement with passage of time. Huh? But you cannot have a cube kept in front of you and instantly see all 6 faces. It's not possible. Therefore, the 4th dimension is time. Huh? You will see that. Yeah.
5th dimension. Now, adding another dimension to the 4 dimension, which is time. Just
Okay, I will show you article of that. Just 1 minute. See here, see this article. He talks about the 5th dimension. See here. Einstein's general theory of relativity defines the 4th dimension as time, and another fifth dimension yet to be discovered. Even the most well-read intellectuals or the most highly qualified experienced scientists are incapable of imagining in the fifth dimension. But is there a fifth dimension? He's asking, and then he's beginning with this. So he's asking, he's beginning with this. If you see, the first dimension is a straight line. Second dimension is a flat surface, like mirror, picture, screen, and all. Third dimension is the depth of an object, any physical object. And the fourth dimension here is bringing is no other than time itself. And the time is, yeah. And then then what is the fifth dimension? There are more dimensions to this. For example, um, now there are demigods who are capable of being aware of what is going on in your mind. Like, for example, Yamaraj. Yamaraj can keep track of the sinful activities of every living entity, which other living entities have no access to. Correct? Huh? Yeah. So, in this way, there are multiple dimensions, higher and higher. Like, uh, you can read this article also, and I have two more articles. He is explaining about not only fourth dimension, he is talking about 64 dimensions. Okay, we go back to the article. Say, read this.
According to Vedic physics, space inside our universe is multidimensional. There are 64 main dimensions, and each dimension is further divided into many subdimensions. Since the inhabitants of Earth can only perceive 3 dimensions, their senses have no access to many other realms of universal reality.
Yeah. That means, see, if you are in one dimension, you cannot see the things happening at a higher dimension. For example, say, let us see one ant here in the top of the ceiling. So, that ant, for him, the reality is it's a flat surface, that's all. He doesn't know much. How much will the ant be aware that so many boys are sitting here in the room and they are having a class on Utkarsh camp and what subject is going on? So, therefore, the consciousness is another dimension. For example, if a dog is coming and sitting in the room, he can't understand the subject matter that's being discussed. That is, which is understandable to you, is not accessible to him because his consciousness level is impaired. You understand the point? Both perception and conscious awareness. Like the ant doesn't have the ability to perceive such a great detail that is available here. So he may think that all that I know is only a flat plane surface. And the same thing happens if you see in Tamaguna, Rajaguna, Sattoguna. A Tamaguna person has no access to Rajaguna and Sattoguna. A Rajaguna person has access to Tamaguna and Rajaguna. A Sattoguna person has access to, he can perceive all the three. Like you all are not drunk now. If a drunkard is lying in a gutter, you can see that he is suffering. Correct, no? If you tell him you are suffering, will he agree? He will not agree. He thinks he's enjoying. So it requires a higher vantage point to be able to see people at a lower vantage point. And same thing happens with demigods. Demigods have not only enormous time at their disposal compared to our 6 months is one day for them. Our another 6 months is one night for them. Okay, now when we talk about the time, as a fourth dimension, for example, X, Y, Z, that's a tiger standing here. And plus delta T, you put, a man is coming to the same pond to drink water. If delta T tends towards zero, then the tiger may attack the man. Correct, no? But if the T difference is there, then the man will come drink water and go, tiger will come drink water and go. Correct, no? That's why Einstein called the time as the fourth dimension. But the consciousness, you can take it to the fifth dimension. And then if you go higher and higher, there are living creatures at a higher and higher dimension. We think we are better than the dog or cat, but demigods are better than us in many, many respects. For example, the demigods, the garland they wear never dries out. Their eyes never blink. Their shadow never falls on the ground. They never keep the foot on the ground. You know that? And their bodies are not made of Panchamahabhut. It's made up of ethereal body. And demigods can disappear in one place and reappear in another place. And they can be simultaneously aware of things happening, to a large space, unlike our ability to perceive things within a limited sphere. So in this way, the scriptures talk about The spiritual world has the highest dimension, which is not within material world, but which is beyond the material world. I told you something about the Vaikuntha planets, I told you. There are also description about the Goloka, where Lord Krishna personally resides with his devotees. And he is basically, the scriptures say that the highest plane is exchanging pure love with unselfish servitors. That Lord, unconditional love, those who exhibit with them. This is the highest plane one can achieve. Now, in this world also, we perceive some higher dimensions which are not comprehensible by human beings. Like any of you go to Google search and find out Bermuda Triangle, there is a 45 minutes movie you will find. They are talking about a triangle where any aeroplane goes, it just ages very fast. 100 years passes within a few moments only. And the aeroplane crushes and falls into that, into the triangle, the Bermuda Triangle. So scientists are still researching. They can't confidently say they have understood it. It is one particular patch on Earth, planet only. But why the time is flowing so fast in that plane, they don't know. So this is an example of some higher dimension existing on Earth. So there are many movies which have come on this. Please read this.
On 13th October 1917, a crowd of about 70,000 people congregated in the vicinity of the Cova de area, Fatima, Portugal, and witnessed a glowing globe-shaped vehicle revolving like a most magnificent fire wheel, taking on all the colors of the rainbow and sending forth multicolored flashes of light and the occurrence of a shower of rose petals that vanished upon touching the ground. This happened 3 distinct times, 10 minutes each. The onlookers increased greatly from month to month as news spread.
So how many times this flying saucer came? How many times?
3 times.
You read it, you know it, but others I am asking. How many times it came? 3 times. And how long? What is the duration people saw it? 10 minutes. And how many people witnessed it? So this is from a book by Alien Identities by Richard L. Thompson. Why I got this information for you? Because the number of people who witnessed are not 1 or 2. Correct? Now how many people? 70,000 people have witnessed. The witness is very big number of witness. And also 3 times it has happened. And something mystical has happened also. Flower petals came to the ground and they vanished. They watched it. So this is what we call a UFO, we call it. Nowadays also there are a lot of, if you go to, see, you are able to see this. See, scientists say that this type, you are able to see this one? See, it's flying. So they have found out UFOs like this, flying saucers. They have captured it with camera, but they are fully confident that it is from no connection to the earth of any control station. It doesn't belong to any country. You're able to see? Where is it? You see this one? Okay. I'll show you another one.
My daughter, and she's running, she's 11, and she...
He attacks this guy, and these little guys come up. I mean, seriously, this guy is like totally getting attacked. Bam, 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 this strange orb around him, and then bam, he's gone. Wow. He is totally, these are 10-minute increments. Now see this guy here, he's parked right here. Sees him, and it heads right over top, and then it like, here you go, bam, totally attacks this guy, and these little guys come up. I mean, seriously, this guy is like totally getting attacked. Bam, 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 bam. This strange orb around him. And then bam, he's gone. Wow. He is totally gone. Look.
Look at it.
Coming from another. There are living forms in other planets. That's one lesson we learned from this. Surely there is somebody else controlling it from somewhere else, correct, no? And they also found that these people have lightning speed. Many of these UFOs, they appear, how quickly they vanish. They manifest and they vanish. They must be very, very advanced in technology from other places. So our Shastras talk about living forms in various other planets besides Earth. Earth is not the only one. Our people have, like for example, if somebody says there is no life on moon or no life on sun, if they say, if you ask scientists, what is your logic? What they will say, do you know that? How can there be life on sun? The temperature is so high, correct, no? But there is something called fire bacteria. Are you aware? Fire bacteria lives in fire. So we tend to generally, it's called in Sanskrit, Atmavan Mannite Jagat, we say, which means if I cannot live on sun, then nobody else can live. Correct, no? Because such fire is so high temperature. This is a very, very narrow-minded frog in the well type of consciousness. Like, in Arctic, Antarctica, scientists at one time said there cannot be any living forms because ice is extremely cold in the poles, But now they broke the ice and they found so many living creatures inside the ice also. Similarly, there is one type of frog which lives inside the stone. Do you know that? In the mountain area, if you break a stone, this frog will come out. This frog has elastic legs. From here, it will jump up and stick to the ceiling. From there, it can jump very long distances. It jumps. How many of you know that frog? What do you call it? You know what they call it? In Tamil, they call it tere. Tere, they call it. Looks like a frog with elastic legs. Jumps like anything. It's not an ordinary frog, it is. And it lives inside the stone. What food it gets inside the stone? You break a stone, it comes out. So, that means living forms can live inside a stone. They can live in ice. They can live in the poles. And they can live in other planets also. If you say that there cannot be any living forms on other planet, you have to you have to defend this. What is this flying saucer or what are these UFOs that are recorded? Anybody has any explanation? You take the mic if you want to say about it.
The material scientists say that he would need to live 40,000 years to reach the highest planet of the universe, being carried by a Sputnik. This is also utopian because no one can be expected to live 40,000 years. Besides, when the space pilot returned from his travel, none of his friend would be present to receive him back as the greatest astronaut.
Because that is one of the reasons why man is not going in the space. He's always sending an unmanned probe. Correct, no? Like Mars probe. There is no man sitting inside because they know that many of these what they are sending will take long, long years. So, but this is what I told you till now. Ant on the ceiling example I gave you. They cannot perceive greater truths. One of the things that gives us faith in the spiritual world is the authoritative statements in Bhagavad Gita. You can note down these verses and see it at your leisure. Read only the verse numbers.
Okay. You may read the following verses from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna speaks about the spiritual world. Bhagavad Gita, verse number 15.6, 9.25, 8.15, 8.16, 15.4, 8.28, 8.21, 8.10, 8.8, 8.5, and 2.15.
See all these verses. That means not one or two, many, many verses Krishna talks about spiritual world. So, because we cannot even fathom where the material sky is ending, how are you going to fathom the spiritual world? It's beyond our comprehension. Unless we accept it from the Shabda Praman like this. But what is our faith? For example, in this world, all that you talk about is based on what you have heard. Say a person called Gandhi existed, or a person called Shivaji Maharaja existed. or a person called Hitler existed. All these things, how do you know? Maybe the recent ones you have some photos or videos. But what about 200 years ago? 500 years ago? Now, do you have any records of that? Mostly you hear from Yuan Chuang and other historians. That means how many of you agree that we hear the historians and we put faith in them? Correct, no? Otherwise, how do you know? And also, whatever they have written, how far is it true? You can't be sure because they may be prejudiced by their own perceptions also. Still, that's the information you have and you believe it, correct, no? No. So, like for example, how do you know a place called America exists or, there's something wonderful? Because there are people who have gone there, people who have come back from there. You get information. Most of our knowledge comes by hearing. That's what he's saying. This is a very important point here. When you go to a movie theater, they close all the doors, they switch off all the lights, they ring the bell, and the movie starts. And you completely soak your consciousness into the movie. How many of you experienced that you saw the movie with such intent desire that you became a part of the hero's family? You have experienced, correct, na? Yeah. So much so that when a hero cries, you also cry. Isn't you take the kerchief, you're also crying. When hero is smiling, then you also smile. Or towards the end, there is a stunt scene where the hero is in a hilly area, mountain area, and the villain is coming on the top of the mountain and is kicking the hero down, and hero is catching the edge of the cliff, and the villain is taking a shoe and crushing his fingers, and you feel so much uneasy. It's going to fall down. And of course, everybody knows what will happen after that. The hero will somehow climb up and come to the top and kick the villain and all that. When he is kicking the villain, you kick your neighbor also. So much you become absorbed in the movie. And then when you come out of the movie, then you realize, my Lord, after 2 days I have examination, I have to study. Then you realize the real life. So your real life is outside the theater, correct, no? And the movie life is another type of life. Similarly, the Shastras say this material world life is like a movie life. And when you go to spiritual world, that is real life. So that the comparison is very good because, Shakespeare said that life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, he said. Another time, Shakespeare said, life is like a drama stage, he said. We all are actors. We play our role in one life and then we push off. Like that he said. And we again take one more role. Just like our drama actors. Yesterday they did one drama. Today they will do another drama, correct, no? It's like life is like a drama stage. We all come and we do some role and we push off. But what is my real identity? That is not in this material world. See, this fellow is saying, what if I don't have grains for tomorrow? At least I have a TV, he's saying. That means it's an illusion. We are stuck in this illusion. This is a very punching proof. There cannot be any opulences in this world unless they exist in the spiritual world. Actually, in this world you see beautiful girls and handsome men. But because although these bodies are made up of flesh and bones, as we saw in the liquid beauty story, the beauty of the spiritual world is reflecting on the flesh in this world. Similarly, there are famous people in this world, opulent people, wealthy people in this world. All these things are reflections of this minute spiritual opulences from the spiritual world. How can there be a reflection without the object? Like for example, in a dark room, you can take a mirror, correct, no? Mirror, how many of you have done that? Take a broken mirror and send it into a dark room. But what do you need for doing that? Where will you get that light from? Sun. That means when there is sun in the sky, then you can send a reflection into dark room. Similarly, when there is opulence in the spiritual world, then it can reflect in the material world. Otherwise, it cannot reflect. That's the point. Yeah, our inability to access the spiritual truth because of 4 defects. This is one very punching proof also. Please read this.
The godly qualities of saintly person: truthfulness, character, integrity, purity, serenity, selflessness, tolerance, humility, gravity, magnanimity, compassion, and many other qualities exhibited by Jesus, Muhammad, Haridas Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, and anyone who follows the path of saintly persons.
So the path of the saintly persons is a much different path than the path of the masses. We can see that this type of quality, every very advanced saintly person you always see, they live a very unique type of life, which much different. One example I'll tell you. There was one Ekanath, one devotee of Lord Vithala in Pandharpur. Every day he would take bath in the Chandrabhaga river and come. One landlord became envious of him. He employed one servant to spit water on his face. And he said, you have to make him angry because all people are respecting him too much. So when he took bath and came, so this fellow spat on it, like that, spat on his face, water. Ekanath again went and took bath and came. Second time he spat. Again he took bath and came. 100 times he did. And then 100 times he took bath. Now this man's mouth was paining, spitting every time. So he said, sir, my mouth is paining and you are not becoming angry. My boss has given me a special task to make you angry. But how is it that you don't become angry at all? So Ekanathji said, every time you spit on me, you are giving me one more chance to take a holy dip. You are making me holier and holier by spitting on me. So I don't mind, he said. So this is not this kind of behaviors are extraordinary, is it not true? I just said one story. We can say many like that. Like I'll tell you another story. Jesus tells his disciples that there was a proud Pharisee who came to a church, who stood in front of God and said, my dear God, every month I give you 1,000 coins. And then he showed behind and said, I'm not like that poor publican standing in the rear end of the church. He doesn't pay you any donation. I pay a lot of donation. I thought he was boasting himself. And then he walked out of the church, lifting his nose like an anti-aircraft gun, and he walked out. I thought he walked out. And then the poor publican was in the rear end. He was striking his breast and he said, my dear Lord, I am very poor. I have nothing to offer you except myself. I am a great sinner. Please forgive me. And please accept me. And that he was not even ready to come in the front. He was standing behind and he was very remorseful. So, and then Jesus told his followers that two men came to the church, but God heard only one prayer. And the two of them offered prayer. So God heard whose prayer? The poor publican's prayer. So these are all qualities which are similar in all the religions you will see. The saintly person's behavior is very similar. Yeah, we can say stories of Buddha, we can say stories of Guru Nanak and Prabhupada, we can say so many things. Another thing is similarity in description in all religions, Christianity, Hinduism, Sikhism. Very similar. See, I told you, Jesus says here, you see, I mean, this thing, and there shall be no night there, there's no need of candle. Similar thing, correct? No, Lord giveth them light, he says. There is also another quote I'll show you. Okay, I haven't given here, but in book I have given more quotes. See, this is, see, this is Sikhism also. Read that by one pointed.
By one pointed love and devotion. By one pointed love and devotion to God, one attains to that place which is eternal, changeless, and when there is pure happiness, there one enjoys the qualities and pastimes of the Lord. There exists an eternal kingdom of the Lord. In that place there is no fear, no illusion, no bewilderment, no miseries, and there is no birth and death. There is only pure eternal spiritual bliss in that abode. The devotees of the Lord in that abode subsist on the glories of the Supreme Soul, God.
Yeah. This is from Sikhism. Khojat khojat vicharyo das govind parayan avinashi kham chaho jinanak sada sumiran narayana. He's saying that if you are desiring to go to the spiritual abode, then sada sumiran narayana, always chant the holy name of Narayana, like that is saying. This is from Sikhism. It's from Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Nanak is saying. So you will find very similar. In Bible, you will say, "Oh Lord, thou hallowed be thy name." Hallowed be the name, or hallow the names of the Lord with all thy might, all thy heart, all thy soul. Chanting the holy names. So we can compare many things, comparing the holy names, comparing the statements in different. In our device book, I have given more. 20, 25 items I have given. Yeah. This is more detailed information about spiritual world he is giving. Who? Our Brahmaji. Yeah.
I worship the transcendental seat known as Shvetadvipa, where as loving consorts, the Lakshmis in their unalloyed spiritual essence practice the service of the all-attractive Lord Krishna as their only lover. Where the soil is the purpose gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance, the flute is the favorite attendant, effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty. Where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subjected to the quality of passing away even for the space of half a moment. That realm is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world.
Yeah. So, today's summary is here. Huh? This is Vaikuntha planets. It's a very beautiful video. Please be attentive. Huh? Vasanti yatra purushaha sarve vaikuntamurtayah ye nimitta nimittena dharmena radhayan haryam. In the spiritual world, all servants of the Lord serve the Lord without any desires for sense gratification. Nobody has any propensity for sense gratification. They all want to serve the Lord.
कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्धि.
See, there the Supreme Lord is in Vishuddha Sattva. Vishuddha Sattva means beyond the three gunas. Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tama guna. Huh? Beyond that.
ॐ नमो नारायणाय ॐ नमो नारायणाय
The spiritual, there are desert trees, and in all seasons they produce flowers and fruits, which are always fresh. They are spiritual and personal. Then any tree can produce any fruit there. They are called Kalpa Vriksha trees. Birds, I told you, no, birds in spiritual world.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hey! Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
I told you, bumblebee is singing Lord Vishnu's stories, and all the birds are royal birds are hearing.
Hare Krishna, Preyoshi Nama Nama Tulasi Krishna, Preyoshi Nama Nama Broje Radha Krishna Sheba Pavo Eyobi Lashi.
The flowers are all offering obeisances to Tulsi in their personified forms. You see, Tulsi is in Krishna's lotus feet, correct, no? See, yes. This is what I was telling about the Vaikuntha. Huh? Till now I was showing about Vaikuntha. Now this is about Goloka. One last one, we'll finish it. Pranay Sarga Durvairaha Sahasandra Mrigadayah Mitrani Vajitavasa Dutarottarshakadikam.
Vrindavan is the transcendental abode of the Lord, where there is no hunger, anger, or thirst. Though naturally inimical, both human beings and fierce animals live there together in transcendental friendship.
Yeah. Even like a tiger and deer, they drink water together in Yamuna. How? Because in spiritual world, the tiger is also vegetarian. Tiger also drinks only milk only. Prabhupada writes in that purport, 10, 13, 60. You will read that. In the spiritual world, there is no animosity between one creature and another creature. Material world means jivo jivasya jivanam. Spiritual world means jio jenido. Live and let live. Nobody hurts. This is material world. You see, a deer is chased by a tiger. Very fearsome, isn't it? Tiger is seeing here as a lunchbox. And deers are friends, as I told you. They are embracing and dancing together in the spiritual world.
गानं नाट्यं गमनमपि वंशी प्रियसखी चिदानन्दं ज्योतिः परमपि तदा स्वाद्यमपि च.
So, this is Golakovindam. So, now I have shown you about the spiritual world. So, now the activity sheet which you got, all of you, in that there are two activities are there. One, I can get one. I will give one here, one. See, if you see here, this sheet, the three heads are there, you see. About these three fellows, there is some detail given here. See here? In this box, it is given here. Understand it? And then you can match the following here. Okay? After that, you can read this one, differences and commonalities between material and spiritual world, and then do this activity. Here, what you have to do, you have to just put the numbers here in this. Material world, spiritual world. See, this activity, those who will get special prizes, but this is 75% is easy. Last 25% will be difficult. You have to be very attentive to be able to write it. So, two activities. One is this activity, this one first, and then this is second activity. Okay? Both can finish. Now there is juice for all if you take it. And I'll be showing you the answers by 12:05. 12:05, I'll be showing the answers. You have 20 minutes time now. So go take some juice, come back and fill up the activity, and I'll be displaying the answers at 12:05. Prabhupada ki